Digital Designer Designation, the podcast.
All right, another deep dive, another fascinating topic. Today, it's all about open source in web development and how it can work for you. We've got a stack of articles here.
Yeah, a ton of information.
So we're going to dig in and find those golden nuggets.
Absolutely. Let's cut through the hype and uncover those real advantages. We'll look at the tools that'll have you building like a pro. And of course, we got to demystify those open source licenses.
Yeah, no legal headaches here.
None whatsoever.
One thing that really stood out from all these articles, this freedom that open source offers keeps popping up.
Right.
No more hefty licensing fees. It's all about access, tweaking, even sharing the code.
Exactly. And it's not just theoretical. One article gave this great example. Imagine you're trying to scale your website and you hit a wall with your fancy, expensive proprietary CMS.
Okay.
Open source.
Yeah.
No limitations. You could leverage the power of something like Drupal.
Oh, yeah, Drupal.
Like that university mentioned, the one managing thousands of research pages, all linked to their student portal. Seamless integration. Try doing that with some closed system.
Yeah, good luck with that. That's a really powerful example. Really shows you how you can maintain control. And with everyone reviewing the code, this whole collaborative spirit.
Oh, it's huge.
It's got to impact the development process.
Massively. Bugs get squashed faster, features refined,
Right.
Input from all over the globe. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Constant evolution because it's not just one company's vision anymore.
Right.
It's a global effort.
It's like choosing between solo trek through the wilderness and having a whole expedition team with you.
I like that.
More eyes, more expertise, and ultimately you reach your goal.
Definitely.
But let's talk practicalities, especially for, someone like you, always focused on the bottom line. What about the cost?
Oh, that's where open source really shines.
Okay.
Think long-term, those updates, training, customization, they can kill you with traditional software.
Right.
One case study mentioned a government agency. They switched to Drupal, slashed their cost by 70%.
70%. I mean, I'd be popping champagne corks if I was them.
Absolutely.
But it's not just about saving money, is it?
Yeah.
It's about where you can invest it. Right.
Exactly. You get that budget flexibility to focus on your needs, not what some generic package dictates.
Right.
No more shoehorning in.
Yeah.
It's bespoke development, but on a budget.
It's like that old saying, fast, cheap, good pick too. But with open source, it feels like you might get all three.
You just might.
But to unlock that, you need the right tools. Your research mentioned WordPress a lot.
Well, it's hard not to, right?
Right, yeah.
WordPress is like the Swiss Army knife of web development,
Yeah.
User-friendly for beginners.
Definitely.
But powerful enough for really complex websites.
I can see that.
Thanks to that massive plugin ecosystem it has.
It's everywhere. One article said almost half LF the internet runs on WordPress.
It's mind-blowing.
That's incredible, but I also saw Drupal mentioned a few times.
Right.
Especially for those websites with tons of content. Is it an either situation?
Or is it more about finding the right tool for what you're trying to do?
You hit it on the head. It's all about matching the tool to your needs.
Okay.
Drupal, now that really shines when you need granular control, over your content structure, those relationships between different pieces of content.
Yeah. Okay.
Think like a university, their course catalogs, research databases, faculty profiles, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Drupal eats that complexity for breakfast.
Okay, so WordPress, that's your versatile option.
Right.
Drupal is for when you need that serious information architecture.
Exactly.
But what about when you need something even more, dynamic?
Okay.
Like a web app.
Then we're talking JavaScript.
Okay.
Your research mentioned Angular and React.
It did.
Those frameworks, they're for building those really slick single-page applications.
Yeah.
The ones we're glued to all day.
Oh, yeah.
Social media feeds, real-time dashboards.
Yeah, they're everywhere.
Even interactive games. So cool. Yeah, they're really cool. I always thought they seemed super cutting edge.
They are.
But also really complex.
Oh, they can be. That's where the open source advantage comes in, though.
Okay, how so?
These frameworks have huge communities.
Yeah.
Massive. So many resources, tutorials, pre-built components, all there to get you up to speed fast.
Oh, nice.
Plus, it's collaborative, right?
Right.
So chances are someone somewhere has already solved the exact problem you're stuck on.
That is reassuring. So we've got the front end handled.
Yeah.
What about the behind-the-scenes stuff?
The back end.
Yeah, the back end. You mentioned Node.js, and I'll be honest, that one always loses me a little.
Don't worry. It's all about finding the right analogy.
Okay.
Imagine Node.js as like a super efficient waiter
Okay.
in a really, really busy restaurant.
Okay.
They can handle tons of orders at once, in this case, requests from users, and never break a sweat.
Right.
Perfect for applications that need speed and to scale smoothly, like chat apps, anything with live data streaming.
Okay, that makes sense. So no more clunky websites that seize up when things get busy.
Exactly.
It's all about speed, efficiency.
Precisely. And the beauty is Node.js uses JavaScript, a language lots of web developers already know. So it's not a huge learning curve.
Oh, good.
Plus, being open source, you've got this vast ecosystem of pre-made packages and modules just ready to plug in.
So you don't have to reinvent the wheel every time.
Exactly. You got it.
It's like having a buffet of pre-made dishes to choose from instead of starting every meal from scratch. Speaking of pre-made, what about those open source licenses?
Ah, yes.
I know they're important,
Crucial.
but they always seem so confusing to me.
They can be, yeah.
Like a legal maze.
Think of it like you're choosing the rules for a game you're making, right?
Okay.
So the GPL, the GNU, General Public License, that's like saying anyone can play your game.
Okay.
But if you make the game better, you have to share those improvements with everyone.
So it's about giving back, making sure the benefits keep circulating.
Exactly. So you create this amazing e-commerce plugin for WordPress, and you use GPL.
Right.
And the improvements.
Yeah.
You got to share them.
Okay.
But what if you use the Apache license instead?
Okay.
Now you can keep those tweaks to yourself.
Right.
Maybe even sell them.
Oh.
It's more commercially minded.
Okay, so Apache is more flexible if you're looking to, monetize what you make.
Yeah. Yeah.
What about MIT? That one popped up quite a bit in the research.
MIT license is like that chill friend down for whatever.
Yeah.
You can use the code however you want, commercially, personally change it, keep those changes private.
Wow.
Maximum freedom.
So that's the one to go for if you want the fewest restrictions. Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
But of course, with all this freedom.
Yeah, there's going to be some downsides, right?
Well, there are some misconceptions at least. Some people worry about security.
Right, because it's open source, the code is just out there.
Yeah, exactly.
So anyone could find a weakness and exploit it.
Theoretically, yes.
Right.
But that anyone also includes a ton of developers who are actively looking for and patching those vulnerabilities.
Okay.
It's like having thousands of security guards patrolling your code 24/7.
That actually makes a lot of sense. More eyes on the code make it more secure, not less.
Exactly. Think about it.
But what about support? Like if you hit a snag, you can't just call up customer service.
True.
Right.
But the trade-off is that you have this incredibly vibrant community, always happy to help.
Right.
Forums buzzing with discussions, tons of detailed documentation, tutorials. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's like having a global network of mentors a click away.
Wow, I like that. But it really highlights a different mindset, doesn't it? You're not just passively using software.
Right.
You're actively part of how it evolves.
Exactly. You're not just a user. You're a potential contributor.
Yeah.
And that brings us to the heart of open source, the community.
The community.
It's more than just, hey, I need help. It's about sharing what you know.
Yeah.
Contributing back, becoming part of something bigger.
It's like the difference between watching a band perform and actually jamming with them.
I love that.
You're not just a spectator anymore. You're part of the creative process. But how does this community aspect work with something as, complex as e-learning?
Oh, that's where it gets really interesting.
It's like the difference between watching a band perform and actually jamming with them. You're not just a spectator anymore. You're part of the creative process. But how does this community aspect work with something as, complex as e-learning?
Oh, that's where it gets really interesting. Imagine like a global network of educators.
Okay.
Developers, instructional designers, all passionate about e-learning.
Right.
They're sharing lesson plans, tweaking open source platforms like Moodle to fit their needs, even creating entirely new learning tools together.
So it's not just about using what's already there. It's about actually shaping the future of education through collaboration.
Exactly. And this open approach can really help address something we see a lot in e-learning, accessibility.
Oh, right. Yeah.
With proprietary software, you're limited, right?
Yeah.
You're stuck with whatever features they think are important.
Makes sense.
Open source, you can tailor that experience for all learners.
So you're not at the mercy of some company to, prioritize text-to-speech or keyboard navigation.
Right. You can implement it yourself or, more likely, find someone in the community who already has.
Exactly, yeah. And it's more than just the technical side of accessibility, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
It's about best practices for teaching different kinds of learners.
Yes. culturally relevant content.
Yeah, things a single company might not even think about.
Exactly. It's about fostering a more inclusive and equitable approach to education as a whole.
I love that. But okay, let's get practical. Someone's heard all this, they're excited, ready to dive in. What are the first steps? The articles mention forums, mailing lists.
Yeah.
It can feel a bit overwhelming, to be honest.
Don't worry. It's like dipping your toes into a vast ocean, right?
Right.
Start by figuring out what you need. Are you looking for a platform like Moodle to build your online course?
Okay.
Or maybe you need specific plugins, something for interactive exercises, for example. Once you know what you need, head to those forums, those mailing lists.
Okay.
They're gold mines of information, trust me.
And don't be afraid to ask questions.
Oh, please ask away. Everyone was a newbie once.
Exactly.
The open source community, it thrives on sharing.
Yeah.
And as you learn, don't be afraid to contribute back,
Okay.
Answer a question on a forum, maybe a bug report,
Right.
even a blog post sharing what you've learned. Any little bit helps.
It's that beautiful cycle. You learn, you share, and in doing so, you help shape the very tools and resources that empower others.
Precisely. And who knows? You might find yourself at the forefront of the next big innovation in open source e-learning.
It's amazing to think about. This has been incredible. We've covered so much ground, from saving money and those different licenses to powerful tools, platforms.
Yeah, it's a lot.
All underpinned by this amazing community-driven approach. It's inspiring, really.
It's been a pleasure diving into this with you.
Yeah.
Open source is clearly more than just building websites or e-learning platforms.
It really is.
It's a movement.
It is.
It's shaping education, tech, everything really.
So to our listener, if you're ready to embrace collaboration, dive into the world of open source. You might be surprised what you can achieve and the incredible community you become a part of.
You're here.
Until next time, happy coding, and remember, the only limit is your imagination.